Good afternoon and welcome to Refuel with the Shepherd. I am Elder John Lee Garrett Sr., Senior Pastor at Shepherd Missionary Baptist Church, located here in Stone Mountain, Georgia, 6026 Pomerania Court. We want to take a few minutes just to briefly give us some things that maybe at this particular hour, maybe your lunch hour is at 10, maybe your lunch hour is at 11, maybe it's at 12, maybe you take it at 1. But we want to give us some things because most of us have just come out of our worship service on yesterday. Some of us may have faced and had some attacks right after worship was over. Some of us may have ran into some things at home. Some of us may have faced some things that came in the mail, and now we're fretting, we're upset, we're afraid, we're scared, we're ravaging, we're looking, or we may have allowed ourselves just to cover up for the moment the things that we've been facing all of our lives, and we have not allowed God to really have control of what is going on. So we want to refuel just for the moment. I know all of you have a place that you often resort to for Bible class at your various churches. We do thank your pastors for allowing you, or you even just stopping by and taking a look and taking a listen. If you give me just a few moments, we want to look at some things real quick that may be able to help, that may be able to and will bless your life, that will open your eyes to see some things. On yesterday here at Shepherd, we talked about who is your puppet master. So we want to know today, who is controlling your life? What's controlling your life? What are you allowing to control your life? We looked at that from the book of Romans chapter number 6 and verse number 16. And Paul talked about whoever you yield your servants to obey, that's who become your master. Today, brothers and sisters, we need to get to a place where we only yield ourselves to God, and not only just to God, but the Spirit of God leads us in every way, in the right way. That means we got to give up allowing ourselves to fall to the same things that sin has allowed us to fall to from the very first day that we fell in it. The writer of Hebrews tells us in Hebrews chapter 12 verse 1, he said, "Wherefore, seeing we are compassed about with such great cloud of witness, let us lay aside every weight." Listen, some of the things that we are calling sins have become weights because we know what they are. We know when they come. We know who they are. We know what it does. We know what it takes to get us to bow down. That's why Paul tells us in 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 13, to coincide with Hebrews chapter 12 verse 1, he said, "There's no temptation that is not common to man, that has not taken man, whereby God has not given him a way of escape." How does that collaborate with Hebrews 12 and 1? Well, to refuel you just for a moment, if you are in control and you have become the master of your life by allowing the word of God that you heard in your hearing, by the faith that you have in God, being led by the Spirit of God, and no longer being the puppet of the master of the sins that you've allowed to accumulate in your life, and you've allowed the Spirit of God now to take the roots of sin and the rudiments of sin out of your life, and the thing that caused you so easily to fall, and those people that know how to pull you back in it, when you take back the strings and you're no longer on their strings, or you're no longer the dummy that's sitting on the lap and they're the ones that's speaking through you, and you become the ventriloquist dummy that they speak through. Everything that they tell you, you say. Everything that they tell you to do, you do. Today, brothers and sisters, if you want to refuel and become strong and begin to walk in the newness of life, stop fretting those things and those folks that have caused you hell, high water, and trouble. Forget about your past. How am I going to forget about it, Reverend? How am I going to forget about it, John? John, how is it to be that I can forget my past? Well, you have to lay aside. You have to be willing to empty out in order that God may pour in. So look at what David says here in Psalms 37. He says, "Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious of the workers of iniquity." So if we want to refuel today at this hour, whatever your lunch hour is, when you view this, think about it, take it back to your church, put it to your life, apply it to your life. If you allow God to really have full control, then you will not allow yourself to be busted, blustered, fustered, and frustrated by what comes in, because now you control what's in your circle, on your outer circle, and what's in your inner circle. You know who it is, you know what it is, and that's why the writer of Hebrews says, "Wherefore we're compassed about those that have already died, those that are in heaven, the angels in heaven, God himself, Christ that sits on the right hand of God, that pleads our cause all day, every day, that God says unto him, they ought to deserve." He said, "I've already paid for it." He said, "They're compassed about with such great cloud of witness, let us lay aside every weight." What are the weights that you've allowed to become the strings, that you've allowed sin to be the puppet master that has now controlled your life? Fret not yourself. Stop allowing. Take a stand. Be willing. Don't hide it. Bring it to the forefront, acknowledge it. Once you've acknowledged it, allow God now to take it. When God takes it, now God can begin to control it, because now you've taken back dominion over your life. To refuel, fret not yourself. Stop being worried, stop being afraid. If you trust God, have faith in Him totally, God will bring you out. I promise you, I assure you, been down the road, traveled down the road, tried some things in life, done some things in life, and even in my salvation, for those of us that are so saved and sanctified and won't allow folk to know that they've had some troubles and trials, that even while they've been saved, they stumbled and slipped, and they slipped back into the things of life. But thank God the word says, those that are spiritual, restore those that have fallen. I'm glad that were those that were there to restore. And in restoration, God gives you new strength, new lights. Take the fuel of the word of God. Stop fretting yourself. Stop being bothered. Rejoice in the Lord. So we hope that this moment, that this was enough food, this was enough fuel for you to open your eyes, for you to see, to cut the strings of sin that is caused to become your master and master sin by no longer allowing it to have dominion over your life. If you do that, then you won't be bothered. You'll sleep well at night. You won't need Prozac. You won't need all these other medicines. You won't need any type of sleeping pill. You won't need Tylenol PM or nothing else to cause you to rest. But God will give you a sweet rest, because your soul will be at rest. When you take His yoke and you start learning and you make it applicable to your life, you'll find even on your job, in your home, when you take dominion, have dominion. Rule with compassion, but with stability and sternness, and watch the transformation of God. God bless you today. Thank you for joining us with Refuel here at Shepherd Missionary Baptist Church. We're located here in Stone Mountain, Georgia, 6026 Pomerania Court. Every Sunday morning, 10 o'clock intercessory prayer. 10:30 we begin our praise and worship. Around the hour of 11, the Word of God is giving unto us. Every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, you can either join us here, or you can join us at 424-203-8075. Access code 17753. Press pound and you can get in via teleconference, or you can join us on the web. You can see us at Streaming Faith, www.justin.tv/ShepherdMBC, and you can see us live. You can hear us live. If you want to interact while you're viewing us, call our teleconference number. Every Tuesday, every Thursday. Wednesday is our youth day. We have youth Bible class. We're calling all the youth. You're going through some trouble. You're facing peer pressure. The peer pressure you have now is greater than it was 30 years ago. It's much more harder to deal with than we had to deal with. Youth, come one, come all, of every nationality, every color. If you want to see and get back to the basics of the Word of God and find your stability and gain the fuel you need to press forward so your tears can be dried and no longer cry on the inside, join us. We love you. God bless you. From Elder Garrett, Pastor Kim, Minister Tracy, from all of us here, and along with our ministerial deacon staff, we love you and God bless you. Till we see you at this hour again, be fueled, be blessed, be delivered, is what Jesus said. God bless you today.